add myself to the screen, seeing that I'm over here talking and I'm not there. Add myself to the screen. Good morning, Tanya. How we doing? How we doing? Yes, how we doing? Had to turn on some air. I'm already getting excited, so it means I'm getting warm. And that's not what we're after here. What are we looking at? This is the ES on our screen. ES on the 5-minute chart, seeing what's happening here. We do have some information and stuff coming out this morning that we want to share. Okay, the VIX is at 1492. Yesterday we were in the 16s. Hey, good morning, Lorenzo. Yesterday we were in the 16s and now we're down in the 14s. The market said, it's really okay. Well, I told y'all that basically the news comes and then the market's like, okay, thanks for telling us. I know, right? I should have never had my fan turned off. Good morning. Good morning. Never should have had it turned off. Hey, Ward, 1492 on the volatility index. That's where we are at. Yahoo Finance chart book, 32 charts that explain markets and the economy right now. U.S. futures waver amid earnings flood with big tech next. GM jumps on earnings beat, guidance boost. Oh, GM. I think somebody talked about GM yesterday, probably getting ready to make a move. Spotify stock soars after strong earnings growth. Spotify was this morning, and there was something else. We'll see in a second what else was on the earnings list for the morning. I don't realize my glasses are struggling until I start looking at stuff, and then I'm like, my glasses are struggling. I know I'm not supposed to clean my glasses with my shirt, but that's what we do. Funding fight, our minority grants violating civil rights. Don't even start that. Oh my goodness, they get on my nerves with that one. Going something set aside for a smaller group of people, and then the folks who ain't included decide, this is against the rules. Well, if y'all would level the playing field, we wouldn't need stuff that just was for certain groups of people. All right, there's that. Comcast posts mixed results, weighed down by film studio and theme parks. What theme parks does Comcast work with? Coca-Cola tops earning estimates, hikes full year outlook as global demand rises. I mean, Coca-Cola is because they just don't do Coca-Cola. And of course, they do all the other things, water and things that other people still need and still want with them chintzy little bottles the bottles now. Have anybody noticed that a bottle of water is so very thin, like the water bottle, that you literally, where it used to be like the water bottle had some substance to it. Now the water bottles are so flimsy you can like bend them and twist them around when they're even full of water. Like how am I twisting you around and you're full of water? Good morning, Janae. How we doing? Anyway, stock futures little changed as traders await key earnings reports. Wiz walks away with $23 billion deal with Google. Will pursue IPO. Remember we talked about Wiz the other day, maybe one day last week, but Wiz wasn't trading options, but we knew they were working on a deal with Google. Maybe for those who buy shares, definitely could have been a pop there. Dow futures down 5 or down 0.01%. S&P futures down 0.08%. NASDAQ futures down 0.28%. Oil is red. 10-year bonds are red. Stock futures are little changed as traders await the earnings. Stock making biggest moves: Spotify, General Motors, and Coca-Cola. Spotify, General Motors, and Coca-Cola. Let's look at our meetings and stuff for the day. Looks like we have some orange folders, existing home sales, and Richmond Manufacturing Index. Yeah, I wanted you to go ahead and move. Existing home sales. Oh my goodness. Existing home sales. Sometimes when you talk fast, all the stuff just runs together. And Richmond Manufacturing Index are coming at 10 o'clock today. Those are the only things that are showing up here on the meetings list or announcements or data list for this morning. But let's see if there's anything on investing.com. Hey, Asleen, how you doing? So Red Book is at 855. 10 o'clock is the home sales stuff, manufacturing index, all that's there. 1 o'clock, 2-year note auction. 1 o'clock, M2 money supply, and the API weekly crude oil stock is at 4:30, which is after the market is closed. The market will be closed when that comes up. Okay. Where are we? Come. There's my mouse. We'll come back to the charts in a hot flash. Earnings this morning. Well, we had Cleveland Cliffs, Nucor, NXP, SAP. What's that? MedPac, Crown, Cadence, and AGNC was yesterday after market close. This morning, UPS was the one I was thinking of. Spotify, UPS was this morning. GE Aerospace, General Motors, Coca-Cola's this morning, Lockheed Martin, the Freeport McMarin. I always struggle with that, probably because I can't hardly see it. Comcast and Polaris, and then somebody else is down here. I don't know who that is down there. Aftermarket closes today. We've got Tesla and Google, Enphase. That's all today. Visa's aftermarket close today. Texas Instruments, Chubb, Seagate, Capital One, the Coleman Feeds or Foods, Coleman or CALM, Calm Foods, and then PCA or PKG is the ticker. And then tomorrow morning we got Vertiv, AT&T, Amphenol, Tenet, Lamb Weston, Next Era Energy, which I did a trade yesterday on Next Era Energy and didn't realize they were having earnings. I need to send a message to Dylan and Ben because they have a watch list that pops up and populates with the ones that have the earnings. My watch list isn't showing the red for earnings. Watch list / alerts. When I saw, I put a post in, I retweeted the Twitter post. The Peakbot does a live trading on Mondays. They do live trading on Mondays at 2:00. And they talk about which trades are going, and then they enter those trades. And they, of course, enter them as sellers because that's what they are. That's what we are as sellers. So they enter them as sellers. And I retweeted and reposted that yesterday. And I put the link in our Telegram for those who are in my community. But when they opened up their alerts, there was a red line for the things that had earnings this week. And I got in Next Era Energy. I didn't know they had earnings on Wednesday morning. So I'll be looking to exit that position before earnings because I know, too, because I've said it a few times, that credit spreads and earnings don't generally go well together. Sometimes they do. If you feel like you're going to get a pop, maybe. So if you're real confident on the direction, it really still turns into a lotto. And that's not, I don't really trade earnings like that anyway. So I'll see what Next Era Energy provides for me. And then we'll be on our way. Okay. Good morning, Karen. Janae, I see you got Dell and SOXL. We'll definitely look at those this morning. All right. Let's see what Adam had to say. Yesterday, SPX snapped its 3-day red streak. Yesterday, I provided 3 targets, 56.04. We hit. We spent yesterday here, 55.70, just hit exactly, and 55.83. The plan today, keep riding the runner, 55.64, 55.55 are supports. It keeps 55.83 to 86 react, then 55.99 plus alive. 55.55 fails, which is weak now. Then we dip to 55.38 again. If you're trading XSP, you've got 558 on the call credit spread side and 553 on the put credit spread side. The gap between SES and SPX is about 47 points. Okay, about 47 points. Adam is what I say always is a level-to-level trader. He has support resistance levels going both ways, all based on all kinds of things. So if you're trading SPX, then that is where we are with that. Don't forget our credit spreads masterclass is coming up this Saturday. If you haven't registered, come on, Cletus, come on, Shamon, to go ahead and get registered. You can register for it. It's $97. At educatortotrader.com and come over there and join us. Come over and join us. Did anybody get in any of the trades from our list yesterday? Anybody get in any of these yesterday? I said I was going to look at Pfizer, but yesterday I felt like my morning was very full yesterday because we finished our test and all, but yesterday I was teaching some difficult material, and I've said this before, you might have heard it, but when you're teaching difficult material and the people who are learning it are struggling to learn it, it's like it pulls a lot more out of the teacher. So I felt like by the time I was done with the first class, I was like, whew. And then I got to the second class. I was like, whew. By the time I got home, I felt like I was whipped. And I hadn't done much besides teach. But I felt like I was just like whipped. And people say, "Oh, teacher, you don't really do nothing physical." This is true. It may not be physical labor, but many times that mental labor is just as hard, if not harder. You got to stay engaged. You got to stay locked in. You got to catch all the cues and the signals. It's just a lot. So anyway, I'm teaching simplifying radicals, which, I know y'all, a lot of math people on here don't give a rip about no simplifying radicals, stuff like, 72 x to the third. How do you simplify that? Yeah. So you got to teach them I teach all day long. I really do teach all day long. I teach all day long. And then after I do that, I get into learning mode, because on Monday evenings I take a class on Monday evenings, and it's a really good teacher, but I take a class there. And so I have to put my brain back on, I have to turn my brain back on. Yes, in learning mode, not in teaching mode. And stay focused, because that's one of my problems. The way my attention deficit is set up, I'm liable to be on something else and be like, okay, focus. I tell myself, focus. I have to tell myself, you have to talk to yourself, I call that intelligent conversation. Focus. You have to focus. Or listen, focus. Okay. Thank you. I'll manage. Alrighty. So did anybody get anything on this list? I asked that question. I don't know if anybody answered. Exxon looked like it wanted to move yesterday, and I believe it probably did. I wanted to look at Pfizer. Did anybody get into Pfizer yesterday or look at it? Pfizer. I was kind of, the tech stocks. The alerts on the alerts from Peakbot. Many of the top ones, or the alerts are many of the alerts are tech alerts, which I'm not knocking the tech alerts. I'm just saying that I was trying to, give tech a minute, especially because many of the alerts too are, they're of course based on the 50-period moving average. This is what they are. Yesterday, the top one on the list was Taiwan Semiconductors. I'm not sure if y'all should be able to see that, but this is the alerts list from Peakbot, and IBM is at the top. Google, UPS appears has earnings. Carvana is here. Carvana spread is wide. I traded it last week, and it took me forever trying to get back out of that trade. It's like I'm in, and it was profitable, but the price was between like $11 and $25 to get out. Are you serious? I want my $11. I want to pay 11. I don't want to pay 25. 25 is what I got getting in. I'm not trying to pay that to get out. So GE is here. GE has earnings. CVX is Chevron, which that's not, that's as fuel. Yesterday I did energy yesterday. NEE. Taiwan Semiconductors is here. NVIDIA and STX. I forgot what they are. This is some other company. I forgot. I did look at it though. But almost all of this is tech stuff. UPS is not tech, but they got earnings, right? Carvana, not interested this week. I gotta come back. CVX, I may have done that, but yesterday CVX wasn't on the list. And then you have the iron condor. You have the iron condors for all of the indices are here too on the alerts. I ended up using the triple Q yesterday. That's what I got in, was triple Q yesterday. These alerts that you see here, this watch list populates all day long. Every 5 minutes, it will update, right? So at any point, you can decide, I want to see what's here. You got trend spreads, which is credit spreads, and you got iron condors, which is a put credit spread and call credit spread together. And those alerts are $5 a week. Let me put a little note here. Alerts.usepeakbot.com for $5 a week. Okay, just to, you see some alerts, because I know people who be looking around trying to figure out, what am I going to trade? Well, if an algorithm is going to help show you exactly what you can look at and give you the date, give you the strikes, give you all the pieces and the parts. I guess earnings is listed over here, but this doesn't show red. Earnings for all these is listed. So Taiwan Semiconductors had it last week. Carvana had it back in May, but all these others are this week. And then I guess I could just scroll over. And then the 8/15, NVIDIA has earnings coming up next month. NVIDIA has it next month. NVIDIA's on the list though. I've traded NVIDIA for good little premiums. It's just semis. I'm not too sure. We got put credit spreads here for semis, but I mean, I know I trust the algorithm. I trust the bot here, so I can go with this. Is probably okay. I see that who was that said they got Disney? Karen says I'm in Disney. Call credit spread 96.97. Yes. Okay. Well, this was our list. I was gonna look back at Pfizer and I still will. Oracle is tech, Microsoft. I'm sorry, Morgan Stanley is a bank. I think I looked at Morgan Stanley yesterday and then pulled away again. Attention. And then Tyson Foods 57 to 58. I want to say Exxon though. I'm gonna go here. I think Exxon might have started to move with Chevron yesterday. Well, it moved. Looks like it is currently at 115. Yeah, but it's still in the put credit spread window. Exxon is 115. I know y'all can't see my chart. I'm just looking at something and I'll share it with y'all in just a second. I know I'm not sharing the chart yet. I'm not sharing it yet. I will share though. I promise I will share it. That's the one I want off. Okay. I promise. There we go. Go back to the chart. Add to the stage. Okay, this is Exxon. Exxon is here. Oh, this is the daily chart. Looks like bigger. Look at this doji. Oh my. Yesterday's chart was the doji. Okay, I'm gonna hit the indices and then we'll swing back around to Dell and SOXL. All righty. Nice little doji. There's actually I saw a video the other day of a guy who was saying to use the alert called doji. There's an alert, indicator called doji, and he was saying that with that indicator, and you can have doji, and anytime it pops out of this doji in either direction, you could take that as a trade. So and it will, he according to the video, would work on any time frame, which makes sense. We know that dojis are indecision, so the concept is good, sound. Dojis are indecision. Basically, once it goes outside of this doji going either way, there could be movement, but a decision gets made. Once a decision gets made and it goes that way, I thought that's not so bad of a thought for those who are for any time frame. So if you decide you want to do it on shorter time frames, or you want to do the daily, like this was a doji from yesterday, and then we're talking about Exxon. So now if you said if it went out going down, currently it's at 115 in the pre-market. If it went out downwards, then you'd go on riding down. If it went up upwards, or if it stayed in an indecision place, which our put credit spread, call credit spread from that list, I want to say was 113 and 117. 113 and 119. 113 and 119, and current price is at 115. Okay, let's go see what the stuff did yesterday. What did stuff do yesterday? Let's do SPX on the daily chart. Looks like we've got a 2-2 reversal on the daily chart for SPX. We've had 3 green days, 3 red days. Looking right at it and call it something different. 3 red days. And then we had a green. We've got a gap up here on the daily that's going to want to be filled. And y'all know SPX will go up and grab hold to a gap and then run right back down like it never saw that there was a gap. I'll show here that which part of the gap is not all the way filled. And that's the darker part there. You should be able to see that. Hey, Abra, how you doing this morning? So we've got, this is the gap that's up here. Again, 2-2 reversal going to the upside. Here you got 2-2 bullish reversal. Is this my strat indicator is telling us about that. This is 2 up would be called on SPX. Thoughts that it could continue upwards? Yes, that's the thoughts. Support then would be, for those who are looking for some support would be right down in here in the 55.04, which kind of makes sense that Adam was talking about that 55.90, 54.99 5,500 is going to definitely be a psychological number, and it was here. Hit this pew and went right on back up, because those big numbers, once it doesn't want to cross over one way or the other, those big numbers. So could be some more upwards movement here. You have to wait and see, but there is some resistance in this 5573. Is that 5573? 5573 area, based on this July the 8th candle. Okay, and we went right up to it almost and came back. So you'd have to see, how do we get through there? Let's look at SPY on the daily chart. Of course, SPY is going to look a lot like SPX, since they are primarily based on the same thing. Just the SPY is a little smaller and has shares. So it's going to do a little bit different move. This is the part of the gap that has not been filled yet, the darker part. Again, candles look the same as far as the setups. This was support at 548.90 something, right? Remember, these zones, when I put these support and resistance lines on, these are zones. They're not hard places. Well, yesterday I heard something that talked about if you're jumping on a trampoline, you jump on, it's not like jumping on concrete. Jumping on a trampoline, you're going to go down into the trampoline, into the pool, and then you're going to bounce back up, down, and then push back up. And you'll see here with these wicks, like it goes down and then pushes back up. Same thing here. You keep that in mind when you're putting these lines on, that you're putting them on. They are support and resistance. Yes, Abra, if you look in the Telegram chat, you can see Adam's numbers there. Look in the Telegram chat. You'll see Adam's numbers in the Telegram chat, okay? If not, if you don't find it, let me know and I'll post it. I'll put it on the screen again here. Okay, so this was SPY. Again, a 2-2 reversal. Probably going to try to go back up here and grab this gap, but we still do, as I said on SPX, there is some resistance in the 555 area. Current price in the pre-market is 554 and some change. 554 and some change. All right, that's SPY. Let's look at Triple Q. Triple Q chart looks almost like the other ones. Looks like the chart looks very similar. Very similar to the other ones, okay? Support down here. Ooh, I have so many things on my chart. It just gets me confused. Okay? This gap between these two were gapped up yesterday. The price came back down into it to close that gap, and then it went on back up and closed green. We do have time frame continuity to the upside. The week, though, is showing red, even though we're just a day into the week. It's green, so I don't know why this would show a red on the W. But we've got a gap up here. Gap starts at 498, 488. 488 and some change is where the gap starts, and it goes all the way up to 496 and some change. That's about an 8-point gap. That's a good one. If it gets into this gap, you might go on. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at if we were doing put credit spreads. I'd go underneath. Yeah, I'd go underneath this 475. That's, if you're going longer term. I don't know if we need that much. If you're gonna go from day to day, I probably would at the very least go to the bottom of yesterday's candle, and the low of yesterday's candle was 477. So I'd go with 477 on the put credit spread side, and call credit spread go up here where this resistance is, which I'm not sure what this line is based on. Seeing that all my lines are the same color. And this is why people like Jamie have, little color codes and nomenclatures. So that way you'll know what these lines mean. Good morning, Drew. Great, Abra. I'm glad you found it. It was in the hospital. No, I'll send you a message later. Okay. IWM. IWM decided and has decided it did it's regular up and away, then pull back, and then pulled and shook some people out. Basically, is what happens a lot of times. It shakes people out, and then it'll go on in the same direction it was already going. Right? This ran on up the high of. Okay, move out the way. The high of 234.86 actually went up higher this day. It went up to 226, 220, I think it's a 6, 226.44, 226.64, and then pull back. Pull back here, got us. I wonder what let me see if I can find me fib retracement. Going from the low here, I'm going to start here and go on up to the high here. And it pulled right back to the, like the 30-something level, because it's between 0.25 and 50. So that 31 point or 31.2, 31.8, that level in the middle, pulled right back to that just so it could go on up some more. I don't really use the fibs a lot. I'm not sure what I just took off my chart, but I don't use the fibs a lot, but I do see the usefulness. I'm going to have to add it to my list of stuff to learn, because there's always something new to learn in trading. So, the learning part never stops in trading. Did I delete my whole indicator? Who does this? I wondered why it just disappeared. Smart Money Concepts. Go back on there. No. Smart Money Concepts. There you go. How you just gonna disappear by one movement? Here we go. Okay. So IWM came and moved on some more. Can IWM keep going? Absolutely. What are we at now? Current price, we're at 219.31. 219.31. We've got the high at 220.70. If it breaks on out of there, this is what's a bearish reversal, what rev strat, if you want to call it that, a two down, 3 up, going on up. Entry would be at the top of this 3 if it keeps on going that way. This is kind of a hammer. It's not a great looking hammer because it doesn't have a whole long wick down here. It's got a lot more body than wick, but it could still keep on going. You could have a continuation if it was to go on past this 220 and keep going. You can have a continuation on IWM. Whew. There we go. Let's go with Dale. Well, Dale has a gap it wants to get back into. This already looks interesting. It already looks interesting. Yep. Why does it look interesting? Because it's not too far from the support area. There is a gap here. It's going to probably want to come back down and grab, though. So if you're trading it, keep that in mind, that it didn't fully fill that gap up from yesterday. So it may swing back to grab the bottom of this gap. I'll show you the part that's not filled yet. There we go. That's the part. The darker part is the part that's not filled. Okay. But there's a gap above, which will call. Gaps are like magnets. Gaps are like magnets. There's a gap here, which it filled part of it yesterday, right? I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'll put another box over it. So we'll see the part that is not filled. That part there, all the darker piece is not filled. So we've got the gap below us. Let me put a little note on here so we can see gap filled down here. Come on. There we go. And then there's a gap fill up here. Torn between two gaps. Yes. Dale is torn between two gaps. Which one do we go to? Current price in the pre-market is 127.17. So it's torn between these gaps. Do I drop down and grab hold to the rest of this one that goes down to 125? Right? Current price 127, gap at the bottom of 125. Or do I feel this one and take off like a bat and go ahead and grab this one that starts at 130 up to 134? How do we trade this as a seller? You trade it as a seller. I'll show you. How do you trade it as a buyer? I'll show you. As a seller, I will go with a call credit spread somewhere above this gap. Gap is now at the top of the gap is at 134. CCS at 135 or above. Okay. Go above the gap because you want, of course, gap fills. The top of this gap will provide some resistance. So you can go with that. And then you could do a put credit spread at, what's that, 125 or below. And when I give you the number, I'm saying this is the sell strike number. I'm not giving the entire strike. I mean, the entire spread, because you might decide 136 or 137. So the dark part is the gray, correct? Yes, the dark part is in the gray. This darker part is where the gap, the part that has yet to be filled. That's the darker part. The part that's already filled is light. And the part that hasn't been filled yet. Those are gaps that are in the gray. Okay. Put credit spread below the bottom of this support because you see this support here, and then it bounced off of here. Call credit spread above that if you wanted to look at an iron condor, which it does look interesting. Let me see, where's my paper? So we can take a look to see what kind of money Dale talking about. Dale, we got 135, 125. What does Dale say? I don't think I have Thinkorswim open on my computer. And y'all know if we try to get it open right now, we be like waiting on molasses to move in the winter. Okay, let's see real quick. What do I see for money? Money. For the 26th. I see, let me get some, let's see what the plus minus done. Plus minus 5. The number is plus minus 5. So if we added 5 to this, it's currently at 125. So plus minus 5 puts us at 130 and 120. Current price is 127, sorry. So that's 122 we would look at. 122 is at 82. I probably would go with 123 to a little closer and a little higher, a little lower probability. 78% probability out of the money. So 123 or 124, maybe 123. And then 130. This is, of course, showing like last night because the market's closed. 133, what did I say? 135. I would still go above that gap just in case it gets into it and wants to go all the way. So 125 and 135, right? Yeah. 125. Ooh, that's close, but it's paying $30 on that side. I probably would go down to 123, paying $17. And 135 on the other side of the gap, that's paying $15. So put them together, you could pull up about $45, $45 in premiums. If you wanted to do Dale as a put credit spread or a call credit spread, and or if you want to do an iron condor. Now, if you wanted to trade this as a buyer, these are seller things right here, call credit spread, put credit spreads. If you wanted to trade it as a buyer, you would want to, I mean, if it got below, let me put a little note in here. So, all right, it put right here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Put me a line at the top of this gap. So let me see. I need the right words. Puts entry below. I think that's 127.10. I need to see the numbers. The low here is 127.08. 127. I'm going to say 07. Right. So if it breaks out of this candle here going downwards, you can do a puts entry below 127.07 target, bottom of the gap. Target the bottom of the gap, which the bottom of the gap is at 125.79. Okay, that's a puts entry. And then you can have a calls entry. Let me see what's the top of this candle, the high. 129.87. Above 129.87. Target is the top of this gap, which is what, 134.70. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through all the steps and whatever about the times, about how much time you put on your contracts, all that kind of thing. I am putting out a video, I'm hoping today, on debit spreads. So if you don't want to do the full money of what it costs to trade, Dale, as a buyer, because you need to buy some more time with those. With debit spread, you don't have to buy as much time either, because you don't have to worry about theta. But if you just buy it straight out, you're probably going to need to go with something in August. And those premiums around at the money are in the $500. So if you wanted to trade, Dale, with either or both of these directions, I probably would suggest that you do debit spreads. And if you're going to do debit spreads, I still probably would go to the August 16th date, but you can get closer to at the money because you're not going to pay anywhere near as much if you're doing debit spreads. Hopefully I'll be able to upload that video to YouTube today, and I'll let y'all know that it's out, or you'll know. Make sure you hit the notification bell and all those things, so you'll know when a new video of mine gets published. Because if you want to look at debit spreads, or being able to trade as a buyer, taking advantage of some of these things, you can use the debit spreads strategy in order to do that. Okay, that was Dale. That was a lot. I may need to grab, what time is it? 9:08. Need to grab this information and turn it into a video. Okay, I've got to clear these off because they are bothering me. Okay, so this is SOXL, not Exxon. We wanted SOXL. SOXL is a good way to play semiconductors in a more comfortable way. SOXL, we've got some support here at 46.41. Well, this chart looked like one we just looked at. What does this chart look like? Looks like the SPX, SPY, Triple Q, looks like those same charts. Everybody gapped down last Wednesday, came down to support a couple days and turned back. So now we've got a gap above us that is waiting to be filled. 2-2 reversal. Trading SOXL, I'd look at a put credit spread. Let's see what we got for supports as far as numbers, plus minus numbers and such. It's plus minus 4.6. Plus minus 4.6. In the pre-market, it's at $51. So it's like in the middle of this green candle right now. Support, I would go with, you said plus minus, I said plus minus 5, and it's currently at 51. So what's that, $45, $46? It's a 50-cent spread, so that part's good. Plus minus 5, I would go with 46 because it's at 51, 46 or below. Yep. And if you wanted to, feel iron condor-ish, you can go ahead and put you another side up here at this resistance, which is at 65. Not sure what kind of money is going to be at 65. It could be, depends on if the price starts moving in that direction. I don't know if I'd enter it too early, because the price isn't there at this point and there may not be premiums. But if it starts to pull up or starts to go up that way, you can hop in and potentially get you some double-sided money off of there. SOXL, Dell. We looked at all the indices. Excuse me. Roku. I looked at Roku yesterday, I think. I had one more I wanted. Oh, I know I want to see Intel. Last one before we wrap up. Got the big candles on here. Let me bring this down just a tad. Intel on the daily chart. We got a hammer on the day, indication that it wants to go on up. Come on, Intel, you can go. You can do it. You can do it, right? Support was at 32. It's currently at 33, like 33.15, something like that. That's where current price is. Put credit spread going on up. Looks like it wants to hammer and go up some more. Go on up and get your gap, buddy. You can do it, right? Let's put the gap fill here. Intel's got opportunity, but it's been in a zone. Y'all see it's been consolidating for a good little number of days. So it may provide, y'all know I'm always looking for a good iron condor opportunity. Intel, I really want you to just go on and get your life, though. There's a gap below here. Notice this gap below here has yet to be fully filled. So it could come on down. You know, we're not ignoring the fact that it still has a gap down here. From July the 5th, from July 5th to the 8th, it still has a bottom gap. So it may dip down, grab the gap, and keep going. You can trade this as a buyer or a seller. You can get below the gap as a seller, above the gap, and or once it gets back into the gap, you can try to do some downwards motion until it hits your bottom, your target being the bottom of the gap. There's opportunities on both sides. Okay. All right, people, party people. Adding to the stage. Remember, in case you forgot already, we're doing credit spreads masterclass on Saturday, and we want you to come. That way, when I'm talking about call credit spreads, put credit spreads, you're not lost. Iron condors, you're understanding what I'm talking about. And when I say do it at or above 85, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to trade as a seller, trading spreads. We are still doing just 1 July. Are y'all still doing just 1 July? I'm really trying to still be doing just 1 July. Okay. I'm really still trying to keep myself on the just 1 July train. Okay. Each day we're creating one stock, or you're placing one trade, just one. I know y'all aren't. Y'all aren't. If you're doing less trades than you were doing on a daily basis, I'm going to consider this a win is a win, right? But if you still doing the same stuff you were doing at the beginning of July, we need to revisit your just one. We need to revisit your just 1 July. Okay. Chart your way to 100K to free charting checklist, free charting cheat sheet. Chart your way to 100K.com. Chart your way to 100K.com for the free charting cheat sheet, free charting checklist, right? Go ahead and grab that. I didn't mention this yesterday, but I did mention it, but I didn't have a graphic. This is the secret to making 10% profits every single day. It is the SPX playbook. It's basically a way to use SPX for zero DTE. SPX for zero DTE strategy. Basically, this is a strategy at spxplaybook.net. I actually can type it out for YouTube. Facebook doesn't like it when it's got that particular link. I don't know why. It just doesn't like that link. So I know how to work around it though. 10% profits every single day. Okay. Now this will require credit spreads. Also, if you want to trade SPX every day for, at least 10% profits each day, you're going to need to know how to do credit spreads. You need to know how to do credit spreads. Okay. Because that goes with it. spxplaybook.net. E2 team membership, always open. Morning calls, weekly calls, coaching calls, Telegram group, all the things. All right, let me get on through. I should have moved these things. Options 411, unlocking the basics for those who are new to options and you're not sure where to start or what to do. Options 411 is a good place to start. All right, let's go on to our declaration. I've updated these, by the way. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts grow more and more each week. I am a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war and our fingers to fight. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, amen. All righty. Are all hearts and minds clear? Are we all ready for a great green trading day? I will encourage you to, one, not overtrade. Number two, if you're going to take people's informations and call outs, you need to take your time and look at what they've said too. Look at what they see. If you look at what they're saying and you don't see what they see, then don't trade what they trade. All right. That's the way we do that. Those who are in my community, I'm getting ready to record you a little note. I'll put that in there here in a minute so you can check in the telegrams for that. Okay. I think that's about all I wanted to say today. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. We love having you here hanging out with us every morning. Appreciate y'all. I truly do appreciate y'all for hanging out. All right. We're going to do two things, at least two, maybe three. We're going to stay green. We're going to get this money and we're going to have a great green day. All right. See everybody later. Bye. See you in the market. Bye, everyone.